Okay, so we've got the hot roll done. Let's take a look at the cold rolled. So go to my beam command and we load in Metsec side rail. I'm picking Metsec because they're the manufacturer I'm most familiar with, but we've got a dozen of the top cold roll manufacturers in the UK and they all work very similarly. So it's down to your preference really, but I can load the side rail like that and then I can model that in. So I'll do the entire elevation all in one go. Now you can see I've got a little bit of work to do there to position it. So because I've just picked the grid intersections, but if I create a plan view and then pick my rail like so, I can move that out to the face of the column from that handle there, like so. And then go back to my 3D view. You can see that it's now sitting on the face of the columns. And if I look at my section view, you can see just to double check. Actually, it's not, so I just need to adjust it again, like so. Okay, so I've got one side rail and I can split that and copy that up. So I'll do let's have a look what we got. We can't do a double span, we haven't got enough bays, so I will do a butt system. So I'll just I'll split the entire rail down into 4. I can select them all and I can copy special, linear. Now in the Z direction, so up the column. So let's copy that 1500 spacings 3 times. Let's do that. Okay, so we've got those 3. That wasn't quite enough. Now I could either undo that and change it to 4, or I can just select those rails and do it one more time, like so. Okay. It's a similar process for the purlins. So I'm going to highlight those 2 rafters so that I can see the setting out points. I'm going to go to beam, double click on that to bring the properties up. This time I'm going to say Metsec purlin, and I'll leave it at default 200 Z20 profile. And I'm going to draw it from that point to that point. And then we revert to the 2D to make sure it's in the right plane. Yeah, it's not level. That's not even in the right position. So move linear from there to there, deselect the column, move the purlin, and then grab that handle and line that up. Perfect. Okay, we had a 6-degree pitch on this roof, so we need to adjust the rotation on that purlin to 6 degrees. We'll move it down the rafter 200 millimeters, and that's our starting point for our purlin. So we can split that now. Again, I'll do a butt system, so split there, split there, split there, select all of those. Now I'm going to use the same copy command, but this time it's going to be slightly different. So copy special linear, and this time I'm going to say I want to copy it from here, and I'm just going to lay that cursor down on the top of the rafter to dictate the vector. So we're going to go in that direction, okay? And I want a 1500 spacing. So now I'll type 1500, and you see this dialog box is opened up. Now when I hit enter, it's going to convert that diagonal direction into X and Z, Y and Z values. Okay, so when I hit enter, you'll see that the Y and Z values are populated here. Okay, so that is those are the numerical values in X and Z, Y and Z for a diagonal vector. Okay, so I can now say, give me 4 copies of that, and that will do 4 1500 spacing copies of that purlin. Okay, it's much easier than I made it sound. Okay, there we go. Just complete that roof. Let's get rid of those because we'll put the eaves beam in just a moment. So we've got purlins and we've got side rails. Now we want to work out where to position the rafter. So we will go into our points and we will say create a point at an intersection of 2 lines. Now I'm going to use the top of the purlin. So that's my first line. And then the face of the side rail is my second line, and that's going to create me now a point there at which I can align my eaves beam. So I go into my model now, draw that eaves beam, So go to steel, double click beam, drop down, Metsec ease beam. Again, I'll leave it as default apart from the angle. We don't want a 10-degree pitch on the top flange. We want a 5-degree pitch on the top flange. And we will go from just arbitrarily picking the top of the column. Let's snap to perpendicular point there. Let's go down, have a look at that. Make sure that lines through. It does. And then I've just got to reposition that eaves beam so that that external point lines up with the faces so that the cladding sits flush. Very straightforward. No problem at all. One issue that I have spotted there in the section is with the columns. Just let me split this eaves beam first. And that's when I come to do the connection for the eaves beam, this column doesn't project enough, but we'll cover that in just a moment.